do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, for this is good for the channel to grow.
Jenny Mo welcomes back. This is Bright once again representing Vuga Africa Institute as a host. Having with me here Mr. Beggy and Mr. Victor as the speakers, digging deeper within the topic in question, the mindset, high-tech flow. In the mindset system, as for today, we are going to be learning and discussing about the 5 forward gears residing in the mindset gearbox to obtain freedom. Starting from the beginning to the bottom of the list, here it reads: the goal settings, how to gear up your brain to achieve a particular mission in a very critical measured time frame. We've got gear number 2 is desire. It is a strong feeling of creating a great picture of wishes in our brain and expose it to reality. We've got gear number 3 is ambition, a strong desire to do or to achieve something. We've got gear number 4, the direction. It is a course scheduled within perimeters to end the destination. We've got the last gear. It is success, the accomplishment of an aim, of purpose. It is done. Therefore, I would like to trigger this to Mr. Beggy. Welcomes you.
Hey, welcome everybody. Hey, it is a great pleasure once again to talk to you again about the things that we value much more in Vuga Africa Institute. Our goal is to give you an education that will enable you or that will help you in life as you go along. So as Bright has said here, we are focusing on goal setting. So what is goal setting? Maybe before I get to that, let me start off by saying what is a goal. A goal are wants, the things that you want in life. Goals are not what you think you can do, but it's what your heart tells you want. For instance, you want to take your child to a very expensive school, or you want to go to a football match, or you want to make so much money by the end of the year. All those are goals. And all of them are important. So it's not like those things that you want to do, but those things that you love in your life.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Peggy. What are you going to tell us about goal setting, Mr. Victor?
Okay, well, thank you, guys. Once again, welcome everybody.
Thank you.
Becky, Brad, thank you guys again for doing this. This is exceptional.
Thank you.
So 100% goal setting. Look, we're not going to be able to achieve anything unless we have goals. And, you know, we can even equate it to dreams. And dreams that we had when we were young kids, young adults or whatever, we all had ambitions and dreams. And a lot of the time, and I would say probably most of us, don't in fact accomplish our dreams or whatever the case. So we forget about the goals and we forget about the dreams. And by doing that, we live a life of complacency. And if we want to live a life of complacency, then you know, you're never going to get a success in your life, as you said, Becky. You know, so yeah, look, goal setting is probably one of the most important parts. I know we touched on it in you know, in our last podcast. We touched on it a little bit, but yeah, we're going to delve deep into this one, and I think. Yeah, let's get into it.
Thank you, Mr. Victor. According to the script that I'm having here, you said set life goals, a 5-year plan or 10-year plan. What are you talking about there?
Okay, so 5-year plan or 10-year plan, as you put it in there, look, all of us have dreams and ambitions, you know, when we want to be successful. Yes. Now, you've obviously gone to the 5-year plan, 10-year plan, but we need to look at it in incremental steps. So we need an ultimate goal. Where do we want to be in 5 years?
Yes.
You know, who do we want to be in 5 years? how successful do we want to be in 5 years? Do we want to be living the same life we're living today, or do we want to be something that is more, than we have today? And I would say that 99.9% of people are going to say we want more. So you need the ultimate goal, which is your 5-year or 10-year plan, however far you want to go ahead. This may be, no, I'm not going to say it actually, but anyways, so 5 years, 10 years, you need to have a ultimate goal that you want to be, and then you need to establish smaller goals in between to achieve that, be it on a 6 monthly, weekly, even a daily goal, to actually achieve or to get to that 5-year goal and plan.
I just want to ask you, Mr. Victor, what do you say to those disadvantaged ones? You see, some people, they're coming from rural areas where it is going to be very, very difficult for them to make a 5-year plan about their life. Maybe they are very, very disadvantaged. Those people. What do you say about those people? How can they set up their goals to achieve whatever they need to achieve?
100%. So that's a very great question. And yes, you have got people that are coming from a more disadvantaged area. They don't need to particularly have a 5-year goal per se, but you need an ultimate goal. So even if you reduce that and say, look, I want to be here in a year's time, okay, but then I'll set my goals on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis to get to that 1-year goal. Then eventually they're going to get to the point where they can actually get to the 5-year or 10-year goal. So I gave that as sort of an example, the 5-year or 10-year goal, and you can have it as anything that you want. The ultimate goal where you want to be at a certain time. Now once you get to that, and if you do, and if you do the reps and you do the work and you be disciplined, on the 1-year goal, let's put it that way. Once you've achieved that, maybe you didn't achieve it in a year, maybe you only achieved it in 18 months, a year and a half. But then once you've achieved that, then you can move on to the next step. What bigger goal do I want? Now that can be in the next 2 years or 3 years, and then eventually get into 5 years. So it doesn't necessarily have to be 5 years, 10 years. It just needs to be a ultimate goal that you want to achieve in a certain amount of time, and what the steps there are, on the daily, weekly, monthly basis.
What can you tell us, Mr. Big, about this one?
Yeah, I agree 100% with my colleagues here, Victor. There is a saying that says diligence is a mother of good luck. What my friend here, Victor, is talking about is like preparing for something before you get it. And you will find that every goal leads to another goal. So you can plan it to achieve something every day or after a week. But what I've seen with goals, sometimes they interlink. When you finish another goal, you get to another goal. You can buy something now, maybe it's supposed to buy a studio equipment now. You don't know that maybe in the future you're gonna need it. Like my friend here, Brightenstan, he's been buying this one by one. Maybe at that time when he bought them, it was for another goal. But now we are using this in our studio. So it means one goal lead to another. So small achievements lead up to bigger achievements. So it's one step at a time. Every step counts. Every discipline counts. Yes. Thank you.
I just want to add one quick thing to that. So Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the habits in there, and that's very much about planning, is always start at the beginning with the end in mind.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't have an end goal, then where are you going to? Which direction are you heading towards? You could be in a maze of wherever and get lost and never actually achieve, what you want to achieve. Yeah.
We've got number 2, which is desire. What can you tell us about desire, Mr. Victor?
Okay, so desire. So basically, everybody has a desire. And that basically goes back to your dreams. We have a desire to be healthy, to be wealthy, to live in a nice house, to drive a nice car. We have desires, and everybody has a desire. So when trying to plan for your, or trying to put together your 5-year plan, you have to have certain desires that you want, whatever it may be. You know, I want to live in the biggest house in Bedford View, or Clifford Beach, or whatever the case is. Or I want to drive a Ferrari or Lamborghini, or I want to be a successful person, or I want to be married with children and be comfortable. Okay, that I can bring the next generation on into the world. And without those desires, clear desires in each and every one of us, you actually can't start your major plan, your 1 year, 5 year, your long-term plan that we were talking about. So yeah, desire is absolutely important. Yeah.
We're still in the same gear, Mr. Peggy. What can you tell us about desire?
Yes, desire. I would want to put desire as a fuel to your goal. Where do desires come from? Desires are your wants. They come from your subconscious mind. In other words, that's what you are. Those are the things that you need in your life. Now, everything starts with imagination. You imagine something, then before that imagination, you actually entertain it, and you feed it. It becomes nothing else. But then once you really entertain it, you focus on it, you think about it every day, every time, it is therefore planted in your subconscious mind. And once it is planted in your subconscious mind, it becomes sort of a drive. Like we said, goals must be something that drives you. They must be something that makes you. It is not what you get, but it is what you become. So if you see your goal not driving you, if you see your goal not pushing you, then it is not the right goal.
To change the way you think about desire, how can you do that?
Pertaining that, I guess maybe you want to say, how do you really become your desire? How do you really become your goal? I don't know if that's the question that you want to ask.
Is there any way to change the desire anyway?
Yeah, I mean, you is okay. Let me say it like this. Some people have tried to change the desire, maybe by ignoring them and doing what they do, like maybe they see on the internet or wherever, or what their friends are doing, which is not what you are supposed to be doing. Then the dangers of doing that, you are really frustrating yourself. That thing is buckled up in you. That's what makes people sometimes, you find people are so discouraged, they're so frustrated, because they're doing things that they are not supposed to do, but they're just doing it for other people.
If I may ask there,
Yes.
if you want to do something, can you do something that you never seen it somewhere else?
Yes. Yes, because like I said to you, everything starts with your imagination.
Yes.
The problem with people is like we normally we underestimate our imagination. Imagination is one of the most, if not the most vital thing in human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think human beings must pay every attention, or the most that they can do to imagination. Because ultimately, that's where our dreams start from. You imagine something, you see, then you think about something, then you put a picture in it. Then if you continue thinking about them, or that particular thing, it is then planted in your subconscious mind. Then it becomes desire. Then it is like pushing you. It depends on to what extent. Then sometimes it is called a burning desire. Then it is a drive. It is pushing you to do other things. Yes.
What can you tell about desire, Mr. Victor?
Okay. All right. So basically, desire, and like I mentioned before, that is ultimately how we're going to achieve what we need to achieve. Now, obviously, following off what Becky was talking about over there, when we go to somebody that's impoverished or that has, a lesser chance, as they would say, whatever the case is, but they're going to have desires anyways. They're going to have certain desires that they want to achieve. So once you've achieved a certain desire, doesn't mean that that's where you stop in life and now all of a sudden life is peachy. All right? You've hit one step. So here's the next step. So that's going to be your next desire, your next desire. We've all had desires since we were children.
Yes.
How many desires did you have when we were children versus how many desires have you got now? You know what I mean?
There are plenty now.
Okay. So we've got these desires. We can choose which one we want to go for, and the only way we can get there is actually by goal setting.
How can you tell this is a bad desire or this is a good desire? This I can stick on it. This I can put it aside.
Testing, doing it. I mean, if you're saying let's say in becoming successful or wealthy, what is a good desire? What is a bad desire? Is testing it. Try it out. Does it work? Doesn't it work? If it doesn't work, try something different. Try a different angle. Try a different way. People are going to have good desires and bad desires, but I would say inherently most people are good. So most people want to be comfortable. Most people want to earn enough money, maybe have a family, whatever the case is. But I can guarantee you 100% of people don't want to be homeless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those homeless people or the impoverished people actually have desires to get out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they want those desires and they can set their plans and their goals and their ambitions that way. Easier said than done. I mean,
100%,
I don't know. I've never been in that position and I'm very grateful for that, but I can only try and understand, what they're going through. But, instead of making it a great big step, make the steps nice and small. Make your desires nice and small so they can be achieved. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do this week? What are you going to do this month to make your life better? So yeah.
Thank you so much. Now we are going to gear number 3, that is ambition. What can you tell us about ambition, Mr. Peggy?
Ambition, yeah. For me, ambition is eager desire for extinction or for doing good. In other words, for me, ambition is the how, why, where. It's asking question from your desire. In other words, you are saying, how do in other words, you are saying, how do I get my desires? So ambition is that burning desire inside of you that is giving you a drive. It is that mind that says, in order for me to lose weight, you don't just sit and say, I wish I can lose weight, or I wish I can go to the shop. Stand up and go to the shop. Then how do I get to the shop? Obviously there are ways. So ambition, it is those impulses that speak to you, that auto-suggestion, a man talking to himself, how do I do this? How do I do this? It gives you that direction and that drive to achieve your desires. Yes.
Thank you. What can you say about ambition, Mr. Victor?
Okay, so basically, we previously spoke about the desires and touching on what you said there as well. So our desires basically bring on ambition. So if we truly believe where we want to go and the direction we want to go in, ambition becomes almost a natural part of it.
Yeah.
But that's only as long as you have a true desire for the goal that you set.
Yes.
Okay, and and basically once you've achieved it, with no direction, there's no ambition, there's no desire, and you are going to go in a circle and basically land up where you are, where you start when you started. So 100% ambition is definitely a, how can I say, a byproduct of desire, and that's when That's the power of positive thinking. That's when you know you're on the right track. That's when you know you want to do this. When you wake up and you want to actually know, I'm ready to tackle the day. I'm ready to do this. This is my goal. This is my plan. This is what I want to do. And you do it without fear or favor. Whether you're tired or not tired or whatever the case is, you're going to always do it because you have that ambition. It's the butterflies in your stomach. It's the excitement that you get at the beginning of the day because you know you can actually go out there and achieve and become something better than you were yesterday, you know. So yeah, no, that's how I see, you know, ambition.
Thank you so much. What are you talking about if you say with no direction or goals, no ambition can be achieved? What are you saying about this?
Sorry, so if I say with no direction or goals is no ambition, they can be achieved. So basically what I'm saying is, and I think I mentioned it there in the last bit, is that if you have no direction, if you've got no goal,
Yes.
okay, if you don't have a driving force in your life, I want to make $1 million in 3 years' time or 5 years' time, or I want to own a house, or I want to have a family. If you don't have those goals, then there's no drive, and then there's obviously no ambition because of that.
So how can you achieve one? How can you have that drive? You see, as I asked the last time, those people from rural areas who are much disadvantaged, they may take time to think of what are they going to be in 5 years' time, or to achieve even a bicycle.
No, I got you there. All right, so deep down, everybody wants something.
Yes.
Okay. Now we can go and talk to people all day long, and they can tell us the best version of themselves. And most people are going to give us the best version of themselves. Okay. I cannot tell you what your dreams are. I'm not you. Okay. Same as Becky. I'm not Becky. I can't tell you guys what your dreams are. You know what your dreams are. Okay. So if anybody comes to me and says, oh, well, I don't know, I'm directionless or whatever the case is, then I would maybe go, okay, go back to your childhood. What were your dreams and ambitions when you were 12 years old, or 13 years old, or 14 years old? What did you want to become? A lawyer, a doctor, influencer, whatever the case is. What did you want to become? Okay? So you start triggering something in them. It's not saying that they're going to become a doctor now, but now you're starting to trigger that side of their brain that's actually going on, you know, maybe there's something more to life. You know?
Yeah.
It's just wakening up that side. But there's nothing that I can directly say, or you know, because say to tell you how to get your dreams, because I don't know your dreams.
Yeah.
I'm not you. I'm me. I've got my dreams. You do you. But I would say go back to the younger days and then see how it works out.
Yes, you can please.
Yeah, adding to what Victor said here, I fully agree with him, because look, man, the other day I was coaching another lady who was recovering from drugs. Like, this lady, she did not really want to continue with life, and you know what struck me most is when I asked her to write when she dies, what she would like to be. What she wrote there really touched my soul. She wrote a lot of things that uses herself at the end of the life. So she was going back to life, what she wanted to do, how she would touch people, how she would change the people's lives using her experiences and everything else that she was saying there. So basically, no one can tell you about your dreams, your goal. It is something that comes from within. It is the real you. Remember, we are spirit, and spirit is full of expression and expansion. Now, we all have this thing inside of us that I want to do this. Some of the things we might have not paid attention to them when we were young, but we still know what we wanted to be. Maybe you were sleeping one day, you saw yourself in front of the crowd, a lot of people there, maybe you were preaching or doing what. But those things, they're still in you. It doesn't matter, you can try to ignore them as much as you want to be, but they're still inside you. Sometimes I would say to people, you don't really need money. to have a dream. You can sit there without money, without nothing, you dream. And what I have seen in life, I will talk about myself. When I started to do all these things of coaching and mindset, I had nothing. I was literally living outside there, asking for food. I was really, what I can say, a beggar. I did not mind when this idea came to me, when someone spoke to me about this mindset thing. I immediately wanted to learn. And when I learned, I realized that there are some things. Life is an attraction. The more you think about something, the more you become. Because the more you think, you are triggering something within you. And that thing is set up as an attraction. And you start maybe researching those the things pertaining to that. People come and talk to you. More and more people. Like, in other words, there will be more relevant stuff towards that goal. And that thing triggers a burning desire in you. Once you got a burning desire, you go about knocking everywhere, in trying to find out where you want to be. I mean, you can achieve a lot. I wrote a book, I published it, I even printed it without money. So what I'm trying to say here, you don't need to have a lot of money to start anything. You can be there in rural areas and whatever, as long as you harness it, as long as you feed it. You cannot hide it from inside. Somebody else, maybe a rich man, you can, by a chance, he can talk to you and spot that talent in you. He can spot what you need in life, and hence he will, if it makes sense to him, he will empower you. So that's what I think life is all about. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Peggy. Do you have to add anything then, Mr. Victor?
No, 100%. I think Becky's quite covered it, you know, on that side, and 100%. You know, you need to feel empowered within yourself, and yeah, you know, you need to be you. The biggest issue that I've found with many youngsters today as well is that they're too worried about, and I know we did mention this before, but they're too worried about what other people think. And you know, it's just not going to, you're not going to have a direction in life or ambition in life. You know, if you're always worried about what everybody else thinks, and following what everybody else's you know, thought process is. That's why I said to you early on, Bright, is like, you know, I can't decide what your goals and ambitions and dreams are, because I'm not you. But too many people today don't have direction because they're watching everybody on social media, and who's the next great influencer. I'm going to follow them, and I'm not going to have, you know, my own thoughts and my own ambitions and my own desires and my own.
Now we've got gear number 4. That is direction. What can you tell about direction, Mr. Beggy?
Direction. It doesn't matter how much you can dream. It doesn't matter how big and frightening your dream is or your goal is. Unless and until you know what steps, or you take a step. Because anybody else can dream. But what is important for me here is making a committed decision that I'm going to do this. And obviously direction is the steps that you can take towards that dream. Maybe it is reading books, maybe it is going to college to acquire a certain skill, maybe it is talking to other people who have been through that journey. Because whatever you want to do, somebody else has walked that journey. So sometimes if you don't know the doors, if you sit and you don't know, no one is going to open to you. You will remain the way you are. That's why you find people who are so depressed or frustrated, because along that dream that is inside you, you are bottling it up. You won't even have happiness, because it is inside you. It wants to come out. It wants to express itself through you. So in other words, direction is very important here, because it shows us what steps to take to get to a certain goal. It is closely linked to discipline, setting out routines and things that you need to do to get to a certain point. So for me, direction is one of the most, or if the most important thing that we need to do to achieve whatever we want. Because look, man, there are so many people who are dreaming. You have, I'm sure you've heard that so many people say, beginning of the year, I've got a resolution for this year. But how many of them even achieve anything that they say they want to do? Very few. It is because they just say it, they don't sit down and write it down and have a direction of where they are going. Hence, that thing dies out and they become frustrated along the way.
Thank you, Mr. Peggy. What can you tell us about direction, Mr. Victor?
Okay, so direction, obviously very important. You can't go anywhere if you don't have a direction. I mean, if I go down to my car and I want to go down to the shop, I need to know where the shop is so I can get there at the end of the day. Okay, so if you want to succeed in life, you clearly need direction, and direction's a pivotal point in the goal setting process. Because again, I'm going to go back to that quote, from Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Start at the beginning with the end in mind. And without direction, it doesn't matter what goals you set, you're not going to get there. You know what I mean? Because you can veer off and, maybe mix up with the wrong friends or get into the wrong environment or whatever the case is. Or you might be lucky and get into the right environment, but you don't actually achieve what you want to achieve because you haven't, got that absolute direction. So yeah, I mean, we all need to know which direction we're going in. At the end of the day, or which direction we want to be going in. At the end of the day, and direction is a pivotal part of the goal setting process, and I think all of us need to have that direction. I mean, we all know where we want to go, but we need the direction to get there.
Can one learn to have direction, or?
No, of course. I think everybody's got the ability to have direction. It's something that we probably learn when we're young children. If you want to go to that sand pit and build that sand castle, you need those toys and that spade and whatever to get. So your direction is to get that spade and that toy to build those sand castles and that sand pit. So we've already learned that when we're very, very young. I think we just lose that, and we either become complacent or despondent. So complacency is people sitting at home, doing a 9 to 5, and get home, play their games, watch their Netflix or whatever the case is. And then you get despondent, which is obviously the worst version, where people have got themselves into a situation, be it situational, be it a bad habit that they picked up, where they are walking the streets and whatever the case is, and they become despondent and they lose direction, they've forgotten direction. So I'll go back to what I said earlier on, is that if you ever need to reinvigorate somebody to have direction, you get them to think about how they thought when they were younger children. What dreams, desires, ambitions, what did you have? And just try and trigger that again. And obviously it takes a lot of strength in both. I mean, obviously in a desperate situation, it takes a hell of a lot of strength to get out of it. But complacency is also not as much, but it's a lot of strength for people to get out of that habit that they've formed, over the years, that I'm comfortable. I don't want to go any further. I'm fine where I am. And people turn around and they're not happy. They're not happy when they're in that position. They're not happy when they're there. You need direction. Everybody knows direction. Like I say, it's just, I think we've forgotten direction, and I think it's just to connect with people in very specific ways to revitalize that direction into a new thought process for them.
You can add them, Mr. Peggy.
Just to add on what my colleague here said, Victor, You see, okay, I'll answer this in two ways, which is one, I would like to observe this phrase of pragmatism. I forgot who talked about this principle of pragmatism. Basically, where you learn something by simply trying it. You try something until it works for you. You don't need to wait until you've got all the money or until you've got all the direction. But what you do, you simply take a committed decision. You start walking. If I want to go to the shop, I cannot just sit here and say, oh, I wish I can get to the shop. I must stand up and
Take action.
and go there. You see, when you move towards something, it's also moving towards you. Those of you who grew up in rural areas, they will tell you, when I'm looking at a mountain and I'm moving towards the mountain, it's like that mountain is coming towards me.
Yeah.
So basically, if you start walking, you will get where you are going. So a lot of people, they just sit, watch TV and do whatever they do, and not actually think about what they want to be. Yes, they want to come out of that situation. They wish they can one day be this and that. But you won't get there until you do something. In other words, the society has taught us to be busy. We're just too busy. We don't have time, we're too busy. But busy doing what? You will find out that maybe out of the whole 24 hours, you never, if you really take a stop, you never did anything meaningful towards your life, or even your thinking, you were not even thinking about anything, but it was just activities in your head. You were not thinking about anything. So there's not even one single thing you can pick and say, I've done this, I've thought about this. So it is one of the way we get destroyed. We destroy ourselves. Basically, the way I look at it, if you one day you take maybe a paragraph a day that is aimed towards harnessing your dream, you are building up yourself. Or you talk to somebody relating to your dream, or you read a book, or you anything that is got to do with their personal growth. That's how you build up your dreams, and that's how you get these some impulses about why you want to go, how you want to do it. Yes. So this is how I'm telling you.
Thank you so much. We've got the last gear is the gear success.
Success, yes. So if we get all of those, the first four right, if we can get the, obviously the goal setting, the desire, the ambition, and the direction right, then we have success.
Yeah.
Okay, and success in life. And success doesn't necessarily mean monetary.
Thank you.
It doesn't. It could be anything to anybody.
Yeah.
Like I say, somebody wants to be a billionaire, let them be a billionaire. Somebody wants to be the best race car driver in the world, let them be the best race car driver in the world. Somebody wants to have a family of 9 children or whatever the case is, and let them do that. But it all requires goal setting and ultimately desire, ambition, and obviously direction that's going to get us to the success. And that's really where we want to get to, and that's the ultimate thing. And I mean, I've had many successes and I've had many failures. I've had more failures in my life than I've had successes in my life, but the success is obviously so sweet. There was that one saying, I'm going to quote it from a movie, where the sweet ain't as sweet without the bitter. Okay. So to achieve success, we need to know we're going to fail, but as long as we have fortitude within our desires, ambition, and we know the direction that we want to be going in, then ultimately success is the only factor that's going to happen. Okay, we will have failures, but we know we can pick ourselves up because we have the ambition to carry on. We have the desire to get to our dreams, and we have the direction of where we're going to. So ultimately, yes, if you want to be successful in life in whatever you choose, make sure that you have a strong foundation in your goal setting, and then you're going to get all the success that you deserve. And understand that it's not going to be people that are around you that's going to prevent you from getting that success. The only person that's going to prevent you from getting that success is yourself. And yeah, so that's my take on that one.
What can you tell us about success, Mr. Peggy?
Yes, 100% agree with my colleague here, Victor. Most of the people ask me what is success. I always tell them it is not what you get in life, but it is what you become in getting. So when you set your goal, you're not gonna set something that is. I mean, if you set a goal to buy a car, I know it's a big thing to the other people, but if you set a big dream, big enough for you to become something. So in other words, it is not the monetary value that you get after achieving your dream, but it is what you become in getting that. It is irreplaceable. You can lose $1 million, you can lose all your money, but the person that you have become is very important. That you become so unstoppable. So in other words, success is not what you get when you finish, but success is what you become. I've often heard people say, when I become like this, I'll be happy. When I become like, you won't be happy when you get there. That's the fact of the matter. But you become happy now. Success, happiness does not come from outside, but it is something within. You are happy going through or doing whatever is necessary for you to achieve your dream. You don't get happy when you finish it. So yes, I think that's my take on that. Yes.
Thank you very much. Here you said there are some places where you can stay not achieving success. What are you talking about?
Say again?
There are places where you can stay, but you won't achieve success.
There are some places where you can stay.
Yes.
Living in limbo.
Oh, okay. Yes, like I said, if I say where you can stay, it got nothing to do with physical presence. You can be anywhere in the world, where there is hunger or whatever. But as long as you've got that dream inside yourself, and as long as you feed it, no one can stop. So now, if you can just sit here, well, even if it is the best place in the world with everything, you just sit here, you watch TV, you do whatever you want to do without building yourself towards what you want to do, you will never get anywhere. So that was what I meant to say, yes.
Do you have something to add there, Mr. Victor?
Okay. Yeah, so basically, no, I think, we've pretty much gone through it. I think, everybody wants to be successful in life, and everybody wants, to achieve their dreams and ambitions. But again, we've obviously, many of us have sort of lost our way on that. But at the end of the day, look, success is what you make of it. It's a choice. We choose everything in life. And the one biggest piece of advice that I can, give to everybody is, if you feel that you're failing in life, or if you feel that you haven't achieved what you've wanted to achieve in life, it's the only person, okay, that can actually change anything in your life is going to be you.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. Okay. Nobody around you is going to be able to give you your dreams or create your successful world or perception. Yeah. So no. Yeah. So anybody out there, look. If you feel like you failed and you can't do it anymore and life's too hard, you know what? Get the hell up and get the job done. And you're the only one that's going to be able to do that.
Thank you. I heard some people, they are grown up, they didn't even know their talent, and you were saying no one can change your life. If you are grown up and you do not know your talent, yet there are some people who are at your age, they know their talent already. How do you know this is my talent? How can you change your life? Because I believe most of life they change through your talent.
Okay, so I've got a slightly different take on that. All right, it takes 10,000 hours to master anything. All right, So it doesn't matter what you do. I've been a parts manager. I've been a service manager looking after field service technicians, 14 staff underneath me. I've sold real estate. I do digital marketing. Okay. Those are already three very different careers.
Yes.
Okay. Because I put my mind to it, and that's what I wanted to do. So yes, I believe some people are gifted in a certain way. They might be able to play soccer a little bit better, or rugby a little bit better, whatever the case is. But it just doesn't matter. It's whatever makes you feel, whatever makes you happy. Okay, at the end of the day, if you enjoy doing something, okay, then you can strive to become better at that. Okay, you can study more, you can train more, or whatever sector it is. But it's not so much about talent, but I believe it's about what you enjoy doing and then working hard at that to make a success in your life. Yeah. And not gaming, and not McDonald's, and not Netflix, but something,
Yeah.
Thank you,
of
thank
value
you,
knowledge.
thank you very much. Do you have anything to add, because we are about to close this conversation now?
Yeah, maybe to add on what Victor has said here about talent. Or how do I know that this is my gift? How do I know this is my calling? I mean, we all have a heart, or that tells us, that tells us about our dream, what we need to do. That's where we get this thing that we call goals or dreams. It's something that when you are seated on your own, you see, you imagine something, or something just comes up to you, or something that when you were born, something that developed over a period of time. In other words, you imagine something. All you need to do is to pay attention to it. You put your energy and all your resources in it by thinking about it time and time over again, by reading books, by towards that thing. By so doing, you are developing that knowledge. Or by even going to college. Some people even go to college, but at the end of the day, the more you put effort in something, the more you become. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peg and Mr. Victor, for this conversation. I'm going to close I'm going to close this conversation with a verse. Today's verse is 1 Corinthians 3:23. Whatever you do, do it enthusiastically, as something done for the Lord and not for men. 1 Thessalonians 4:11. And to make it your ambition to lead a quiet life and attend your own business and work with your hands, just as we commanded you.
Please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, for this is good for the channel to grow.